Alright guys, so let's start with the calculation of the variance, and we'll start right at the top, metal tubing, price and usage. So, as we said, we adopt the table method, and those are the headings of the table, and it's easiest to work from right to left. I only say that because the right column is the easiest column. This is the second easiest, and this is the most difficult, the flex budget. But actually, you'll see once we go through it, it's actually all easy. Okay, so first things first, as we discussed, the actual column is the actual quantity times by the actual price that you've paid. Alright, so metal tubing, if we look at the information, they told us, so we're going to look at actual, what actually happened. So we actually purchased 3,600 meters at 5 Rand per meter. So that will go into the last column. Actual 3,600 meters at 5 Rand per meter, so that gives you 18,000. Alright, then the middle column is the actual quantity purchased times the standard price. So in other words, it's still the 3,600, okay, but the standard price per meter is not the 5 Rand, that's the actual price per meter. The standard price per meter for metal tubing is 6 Rand per meter. So then you're going to say 3,600 times 6, which gives you 21,600, and now you take the difference between these two columns, and that gives you 3,600. Okay, so 21,600 and 18,000, the difference is 3,600. Why do we say it's favorable? Because we actually paid less per meter than what we budgeted, and from a cost perspective, that's good, that's favorable. You want to pay less than what you budgeted, so that's favorable. Alright, then now we finished with the price variance, now the quantity variance. Okay, now it's very important that quantity variance or volume variance focuses on what you've used, not what you've purchased. So you may have purchased 3,600 meters, but that doesn't mean you've used 3,600 meters. So that's why you'll see there's one calculation here and another calculation here. And the reason why we have two calculations is because this 3,600 represents what we've purchased, but not necessarily what we've used, because what we know from the scenario is that we started with nothing at the beginning of the month. We bought 3,600 meters, and we'll see in the scenario that there's 100 meters left. So that means we only use 3,500. If I start with nothing, buy 3,600, I still have 100 left, assuming no one stole anything. That means I only use 3,500. So therefore, this is essentially the 3,500 times by the 6, which gives you 21,000. Alright, and the reason why I'm doing that is because this two columns compares really what was purchased, whereas this two columns compares what was used based on what's actually used and what is expected to be used. Okay, so what's actually used is 3,500 times 6, standard price per unit, which is 21,000. Now we look at the flex budget. Now the formula for the flex budget, I'm going to write it here. It's actually simple. You always take what is the standard cost for 1 unit, and that gets multiplied with actual units produced. So all of these items, whether it's metal tubing, foam, direct labor, variable overheads, fixed overheads, all of these items for the flex budget will use this principle. And so for this question, the actual units produced is, actual chair production is 500 seats. So effectively, everything in this column will be multiplied by 500. Okay, because the actual units produced is 500. However, the difference is the standard cost per unit will differ because metal tubing standard cost per unit differs from foam standard cost per unit differs from direct labor. You get the picture. Alright, so for metal tubing, what's the standard cost per unit for metal tubing? If we go to the table that's given to us, metal tubing standard cost is 36 Rand for 1 unit. So all I do is I take the 36 Rand multiplied by actual units produced of 500. And then I get to the 36, and 500 times 36 is 18,000. So now I have 18,000 there, I have 21,000 there. Difference between 18 and 21 is 3. Now it's just a matter of, is it adverse or favorable? Well, how do I determine that? Well, this is what I expected to happen. This is what actually happened. So I actually spent more than what I wanted. So from a cost perspective, that's not good. So therefore, it's adverse, not favorable. Okay. So let's just, while we're here, let's do the foam as well. So I hope you get the principle now. Foam. Again, we go to the last column. The last column is actual quantity purchased times actual price. Okay, so foam, they told us here, we use 600 grams of foam was actually purchased, at 8 rand per kilogram. That's the actual. So it's just simple. 600 times 8 is 4,800. This middle column is actual purchases times standard price, and the standard price is for foam is 6 rand per kilogram. So I take the 600 times 6 rand and I get to 3,600, and the difference between these two, 36 and 48, is 1, 2. And now the sign is, well, I actually spend more than I budgeted. In other words, that actual price of 8 rand is more than the budgeted price of 6 rand, so this is an adverse variance, not favorable. Okay, now you will see with the foam, with the metal tubing, we had 2 calculations under this middle column. With the foam, we only have 1 calculation. The reason for that is this line in the question that says all of the foam was used in production. So in other words, what was purchased also equals what is used, which is different to the metal tubing, because what was purchased of 36 was not the same as what was used. Whereas with foam, the whole 600 was purchased and the whole 600 was used, so we don't have to have 2 calculations. Okay, then we go to the flex budget. Again, the flex budget is standard cost for 1 unit. So what's the standard cost for 1 unit for foam? Go to the information, foam, it's 12 rand. 12 rand per unit for foam, and this always gets multiplied with actual units produced. Actual units produced is, there we see actual 500 seats, so it's 12 times 500, which gives you the 6,000, and then it's the difference between these 2 columns. And so we'll see what I expected to happen is to spend 6,000 on foam. I actually spent 3,600 on producing foam, so I actually spent less than what I expected, which is a good thing, so therefore this 2,400 is favorable. Alright, so I'm going to end this video there for now. When we come back, we'll continue with